It's not often that two names dominate an entire era of a sport, but in MotoGP, Marc Marquez and Valentino Rossi didn't just dominate the grid. They split the fan base, reshaped reputations, and changed how rivalries are viewed in modern motorsport. The 2025 season has reignited this discussion as Marquez is chasing records. Rossi remains the icon, but their feud might have permanently changed the soul of MotoGP. To understand why, we need to go back not just to the races, but to the relationships, the respect lost, and the legacy each rider tried to protect after his recent domination at Brno. Marc Marquez was asked to name his dream MotoGP grid. His answer was revealing, not just for who was on it, but for what it said about the legends that shaped him. The dream grid, Marquez said, would be Dani Pedrosa, Jorge Lorenzo, Valentino Rossi, those three guys who I competed against, then Casey Stoner, then Mick Doohan, and me. 6 names, all giants, all vastly different, and yet only one of them ever beat Marquez to a championship. Let's start with his most cherished influence, Dani Pedrosa from 2013 to 2018. Pedrosa and Marquez were teammates at Honda, but despite Pedrosa's incredible speed and precision, he never won a premier-class world title. Marquez has always been vocal about how much he learned from Pedrosa. As he told DAZN, "I learned a lot from Dani Pedrosa. He is the one with whom I have learned the most about how to ride a MotoGP bike, what you have to do to go fast. I try to ride like him, but with more strength and a little more aggressive." That contrast, Pedrosa's finesse and Marquez's force, helped define Marquez's riding evolution. It's also what made his actual rivalries all the more combustible when it comes to actual titles. Only Jorge Lorenzo has beaten Marc Marquez in a season where both were legitimate contenders. In 2013, Lorenzo pushed Marquez to the final race in Valencia. The rookie came out on top. In 2014, Marquez crushed the field, but 2015 was different. While Marquez struggled with a wild Honda and made multiple unforced errors, Lorenzo and Rossi fought it out at the front, and Lorenzo took the crown. That year remains the only full-season defeat Marquez suffered while being a regular front-runner. Lorenzo never lost his edge, but it was their mutual animosity toward Rossi in 2015 that twisted the championship narrative and pulled Marquez into the most controversial rivalry MotoGP has seen since the days of Biaggi. It started innocently. As a child, Marc Marquez had posters of Valentino Rossi on his bedroom wall. There's a famous photo, Marquez beaming as Rossi signs a miniature model bike, the young fan dreaming of racing against his hero. But by 2013, the dream turned into direct combat at the Qatar GP that year. Rossi and Marquez fought wheel-to-wheel for second. Rossi won, and Marquez took note. The spark had been lit. Over the next few seasons, the tension simmered. At Misano 2014, a rare Marquez mistake gifted Rossi victory. In Argentina 2015, Marquez clipped the rear of Rossi's bike and crashed out. Then came Assen. A last corner clash sent Rossi through the gravel, but he still crossed the line first. These weren't isolated incidents, they were clues, each one foreshadowing the storm of Sepping. Rossi was chasing a historic 10th title, but Marquez wasn't in the fight. Made too many mistakes early in the season and was mathematically out. Rossi believed Marquez was helping Lorenzo, intentionally disrupting his races. In Australia, Marquez beat Lorenzo, taking crucial points, but in Malaysia, things exploded after intense exchanges early in the race. Rossi went wide at turn 14 with Marquez alongside. Contact was made. Marquez crashed. The aftermath was chaos. Rossi was hit with a penalty that forced him to start from the back at the Valencia finale, where Lorenzo cruised to the championship. Rossi lost his shot at number 10, and his trust in Marquez was gone. MotoGP has never fully recovered. Fast forward to 2018 in Argentina, Marquez stalled on the grid, restarted illegally, and was handed a penalty. He carved through the field recklessly, colliding with Alex Espargaro. Then arriving behind Rossi in the penultimate corner, Marquez lunged hard. Rossi went down. The fury afterward was volcanic. "This is a very bad situation," Rossi fumed, "because he destroyed our sport. He doesn't have any respect for his rivals." Never. Rossi accused Marquez of deliberately trying to sabotage others. "He did this with Vinales, with Dovizioso, with me, and today in the race. He went straight into 4 riders. He does this purposely." Marquez replied, "In my career, I never go straight to one rider thinking that he will crash today. What happened to Valentino was a mistake, a consequence." of track conditions. I locked the front intentional or not. Trust was shattered. Marquez tried to apologize in the Yamaha garage. He was told to leave later that year at Misano. In front of the media, he extended his hand. Rossi refused to shake it. Their rivalry had turned cold despite the hostilities. Their careers were rarely decided in equal conditions. Marquez and Rossi never had a true title fight in the same year, but when it came to individual races, Rossi could hold his own. He beat Marquez in straight fights in Qatar 2013, Misano 2014, Argentina 2015, Assen 2015, and Catalonia 2016. These weren't lucky wins. They were calculated, brilliant performances from a rider who had been racing since Marquez was a toddler. But in the record books, Marquez is catching Upis of post-Brno 2025. He now sits on 70 Premier Class victories, just 19 behind Rossi's all-time record, and in terms of championships, Rossi still leads with 7 MotoGP titles, but Marquez is now gunning for his 7th, with 10 races still left in the season. If he succeeds,